In the summer of 1978, the Spanish team, La Furia Roja, came to South America, bringing with them the pride of a country in a period of historical transformation. With a generation of talented players trained in La Liga, they brought to Argentina a style of play that was both technical and fierce, typical of the Matadors. Although their journey in that year's tournament ended regrettably in the group stage after a disaster against Austria and a courageous draw with Brazil, the 1978 generation laid the first bricks for the revival of football in the land of bulls. They did not bring home the Gold Cup, but they brought back pride and stories that never get old. But behind those moments of fighting on the field are people with very unique fates. More than 4 decades have passed. Time has carved deep scars on their lives. Some have become immortal monuments. Some have quietly retreated to become architects. And sadly, some of the brightest stars have disappeared in the sky in the ultimate tragedy. Let's look back at the ups and downs of the journey of those who made up the soul of the Spanish team that year. Juan Manuel Asensi, at 28 at the 1978 World Cup, was the heart and pulse of Spain's midfield. A Barcelona legend, Asensi did not rely on brute strength, but on his tactical acumen and command of the pitch. He scored the only goal in the victory over Sweden, a strike that showed composure and class as a leader. As captain, Asensi was like a lighthouse, keeping the Spanish ship on course amid the rough waves of expectation and pressure in South America. After the tournament in Argentina, Asensi continued to contribute to Barcelona, winning the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1979, before making a bold decision in 1980, moving to Mexico to play for Puebla. At that time, it was rare for a star at the peak of his career to leave Europe, but Asensi turned that trip into a cultural adventure. After hanging up his boots, he embarked on a coaching and business career, opening a football school named after himself, TEDY School, dedicating his life to nurturing young talent. Asensi's life passed peacefully and respectfully. He did not appear too much in the media with shocking statements, but chose to live a quiet life, enjoying the joy of his family and playing golf on weekends. The connection between Asensi on the pitch and real life is calmness. On the pitch, he is the rhythm keeper, never panicking. Off the pitch, he is a gentleman, a dedicated educator. The image of the former captain is now a veteran, respected by the whole Spanish football world. Today, at the age of 75, Juan Manuel Asensi is still living a healthy life in his hometown of Alicante. He occasionally appears at Barcelona events as president of the Association of Former Players, the gentle smile still on the lips of the former captain, a testament to a full and fulfilling life. Marcelino Perez, or simply Marcelino, entered the 1978 World Cup at the age of 22, but was already a reliable stopper for Atletico Madrid. With his long, romantic hair and fearless playing style, he became the embodiment of the colchonero spirit, hard-working, tough, and always ready to rush into any challenge. Marcelino played all 3 matches, facing top strikers from Brazil and Austria with incredible tenacity. But fate attached his name to an ironic moment. After a miraculous save on the goal line against Brazil, he had to watch his teammate Cardeñosa miss the chance to score a historic goal just seconds later. Marcelino's career after 1978 would have been much more brilliant if it weren't for the enemy called injury. Persistent knee injuries eroded his crystal legs, forcing him to retire early when he was not yet 30 years old. Leaving the field when his desire was still burning was a great pain, but Marcelino did not give up. He turned to coaching and player representation, using his hard-earned experience to help the next generation avoid the same mistakes. He lived a private life, away from the flashy and frivolous world of football showbiz. What is worth pondering about Marcelino is his resilience. On the field, he is a warrior who never backs down from pain. Off the field, he silently fights physical pain and regrets of an unfinished career to find peace. He is a model of silent heroes, those who have devoted all their youth to the flag and the shirt. Marcelino Perez is now enjoying his retirement. Although he is not a name mentioned in the newspapers every day, in the hearts of Atletico Madrid fans in the 70s, he is still a monument of courage. Isidoro San Jose, also 22 at the 1978 World Cup, was Real Madrid's multi-purpose brick. He could play effectively on both wings and in the defensive midfield role, and he was known for his tenacity and absolute discipline. San Jose was not the star that caught the attention of the cameras, but he was the kind of player any coach would want. Hard-working, persistent, and always completing the task when assigned. In Argentina, he played all 3 games, becoming an indispensable cog in the Spanish defense, a hard worker among the artists. San Jose's career is closely linked to the golden era of Real Madrid, creating a solid launching pad for the next generation of Quinta del Buitre. After retiring, he did not choose the stressful path of top coaching, but focused on social work and youth training. San Jose devoted much of his heart to the Real Madrid Foundation, participating in organizing football summer camps and charity activities. He considered football a tool to educate human personality rather than just to win titles. His life is full of busy but meaningful days, always revolving around the ball and children's smiles. The similarity between San Jose on the field and off the field is service. When he plays, he serves his teammates, filling every gap. When he retires, he serves the community. He is proof that the value of a player is not only in the goals, but also in the way they spread their love of football to society. Today, at the age of approximately 70, Isidoro San Jose is still a familiar face on Real Madrid media channels as a commentator and ambassador. He remains fit and optimistic, continuing to inspire generations of Madridistas. Miguel Ángel, nicknamed El Gato, the Cat, was Spain's goalkeeper at the 1978 World Cup. At 30, the Real Madrid goalkeeper was in the prime of his career. With lightning-quick reflexes and a powerful ability to fly, Miguel Ángel brought absolute peace of mind to his teammates. Even though Spain were eliminated early, no one could blame him. The man who repeatedly flew like a cat to save certain goals from Brazil and Sweden. He was a symbol of resilience and courage in goal, always ready to throw himself at the feet of opponents to protect the goal. After hanging up his gloves, Miguel Ángel never left the Spanish royal team. He took on many different roles, from goalkeeper coach, first team representative, to facilities director. His whole life was a love song of loyalty to the white shirt of Real Madrid. He lived an exemplary life, was respected by his colleagues and later generations of goalkeepers, like Casillas, considered a great teacher. His old age passed in peace and love from his family. It seemed that nothing could bring down the clever cat of the past. The connection between Miguel Ángel and life is courage. On the field, he bravely faced thunderous shots, and at the end of his life, he used that same courage to face his greatest challenge. At the end of 2022, he was diagnosed with ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. The goalkeeper who once flew around the goal now had to watch his body gradually become immobile. But Miguel Ángel faced it with a smile, without a word of complaint. However, that glorious journey had to stop. On February 6, 2024, the legendary Miguel Ángel passed away at the age of 76. His departure left behind endless sorrow for world football. He not only left behind a legacy of miraculous saves, but also a lesson in courage in the face of adversity until the last breath. Julio Cardeñosa, the talented midfielder of Real Betis, entered the 1978 World Cup at the age of 28 as one of Spain's finest passers. With his magical left foot and slender frame, El Flaco, he played the role of a conductor in the game. Ironically, however, when people remembered Cardeñosa at that tournament, it was not for his exquisite passes, but for the miss of the century against Brazil. With a completely empty goal, a seemingly simple shot was blocked by defender Amaral on the goal line. That moment would haunt him for many years, like a scar on his international career, somewhat overshadowing his outstanding talent. But Cardeñosa's life did not stop with that play. Returning to the club, he continued to be the soul, the living saint of Real Betis, who led the team to the Copa del Rey and left a huge legacy. He spent the rest of his career proving that he was greater than a mistake. After retiring, Cardeñosa became a coach and commentator, always revered by the people of Andalusia. He lived a simple, humble life, never avoiding questions about that play, but facing it with tolerance and a gentle smile. Cardeñosa's connection to life is salvation. On the pitch, he always looks for ways to create goals for his teammates. Off it, he reinvents himself through relentless effort. He is proof that one moment of failure does not define a person, and true class lies in how you get back up after a fall. Today, Julio Cardeñosa is living out his retirement days in Seville. He is still the guest of honor at every Betis match, where the audience still stands and applauds every time his name is announced. For them, he will always be the greatest legend, regardless of the length of history or any cruel miss. Eugenio Leal, the 24-year-old midfielder of Atletico Madrid, entered the 1978 World Cup as a gem in the making. He was a graceful player with a supple touch, exquisite technique, and a knack for taking long-range shots that would make spectators jump with excitement. At the time, Leal was seen as the brightest promise for the future of Spanish football after the turmoil of the post-Franco era. In Argentina, Leal was given the opportunity to start 2 matches. Although he did not create any outstanding explosive moments, he still left his mark with his leisurely handling, mischievous mind, and creative football thinking. In him, people saw the shadow of a new Spain, romantic, liberal, and eager to create a beautiful football style, far from the pragmatism of many years before. However, the tragedy of a blooming early and fading soon talent struck Leal cruelly, just 1 year after the World Cup. In the fiery Madrid derby in 1979, a vicious tackle tore his knee ligaments. At a time when sports medicine was not yet developed, that injury was a death sentence for a top career. Leal struggled to come back but never found his old magical legs, and was forced to retire early at the age of 28, with great regret. After leaving the field, Leal lived a rather closed life, far from the halo he once belonged to. He did ordinary jobs, sometimes having difficulties in life, a sad image of a forgotten star. The contrast between Leal on the field and off is unfinished. On the field, he drew beautiful curves, but life drew him a painful broken dash. He represents the broken flowers of football, the geniuses whose talent could not overcome the cruelty of fate. Today, Eugenio Leal lives a reclusive life in his hometown and rarely appears in public, although he is no longer mentioned much. In the memories of Atletico Madrid fans in the 70s, Leal is still a prince with a dreamlike playing style, who could have stood on top of the world if not for that fateful day. Juan Gomez Gonzalez, is the unquenchable flame of Real Madrid. At the 1978 World Cup, the 23-year-old striker brought to Argentina an explosive personality and a unique color that no one could mix. Although he only played in 2 matches, Juanito still managed to leave his mark with his burning enthusiasm, skillful technical handling, and fighting spirit of living and dying for the match. He is the type of player who plays with his heart, a heart so hot that sometimes his emotions surpass his reason. But it is that intensity that has made Juanito an icon, not only of Real Madrid, but of a whole generation of players who dare to live their lives for football. Juanito is not simply a striker. He is a cultural icon, a rebellious but passionate soul who always lights up the pitch whenever he appears. Juanito's career was a series of triumphs and scandals. He became a legend at the Bernabeu with his classic comebacks, the spirit of Juanito, but was also banned from international football for a long time for stamping on Lothar Matthäus's head. After retiring, Juanito moved to coach Mérida, promising a brilliant coaching career with his strong personality. He was on his way to becoming a talented strategist, a great motivator for his students, eager to prove his maturity. Juanito's connection to life is speed and passion. He lives fast, loves passionately, and plays like tomorrow never comes. He seems to be in a hurry, wanting to burn all his energy in every moment, both on the field and in life. However, that fiery journey suddenly ended. On the night of April 2nd, 1992, on the way back to Mérida after watching Real Madrid play at Bernabeu, the car carrying Juanito had a tragic accident while he was sleeping in the passenger seat. Juanito died at the age of 37. His departure was the biggest shock in the history of Real Madrid. To this day, at the 7th minute of every match at Bernabeu, fans still chant "Illa, Illa, Illa, Juanito Maravilla" to remember his immortal soul. Carlos Alonso Gonzalez, also known as Santillana, entered the 1978 World Cup at the peak of his career, aged 25. He was considered a natural phenomenon of European football thanks to his extraordinary jumping ability, a talent that amazed the stands time and time again. Despite being only about 175 meters tall, Santillana could still float in the air to launch hammer-like headers, defeating central defenders who were a head taller than him. At the tournament in Argentina, Santillana was Spain's sharpest striker, always keeping the opposing defense on edge. Every aerial challenge he made posed a potential goal threat. With his cold efficiency and direct style of play, Santillana became a symbol of a strong, pragmatic but powerful Spain in a context where the country's football was searching for a new identity. Santillana's career at Real Madrid spanned nearly 2 decades, scoring hundreds of goals, putting him in the pantheon of legends. Unlike his hot-tempered teammate Juanito, Santillana is a true gentleman in real life, calm and polite. After retiring, he became a brand ambassador for Reebok in Spain and engaged in business. He built the image of a successful, reputable businessman who always maintained ethical standards and avoided any scandal. The similarity between Santillana on the pitch and off is balance. On the pitch, he miraculously balances in the air to score goals. In life, he perfectly balances fame and privacy between past glory and present career. He is the typical successful man. Today, at over 70 years old, Santillana is still one of the most respected figures in Madrid. He lives a happy life with his family, and whenever people talk about the art of heading the ball in football, the name Santillana is still the irreplaceable gold standard. Francisco Javier Uría, a 28-year-old left-back for Sporting Gijón, who also played for Real Madrid, was one of the most technically gifted defenders in Spain's 1978 national team. He played 2 games at the World Cup, demonstrating his impressive ability to attack from the flanks and his accurate crosses. Uría was representative of Asturian football, as free as the sea but as disciplined as the mountains. He was a hard worker, always giving his all when given the chance, a quiet hero on the wing. After retiring, Uría returned to his hometown of Gijón, living a life far removed from the hustle and bustle of modern football. He did not participate much in top-level coaching or commentary, but instead enjoyed the simple pleasures of a coastal man. He is remembered as a gentle, kind man who was always willing to help the local community. Uría's life passed as peacefully as the waves that lapped the shores of Asturias, where he found peace after his years of fighting. The link between Uría and life is return. On the field, he always returns to protect the goal. In real life, he returns to his roots to find himself. He is the image of humility and simplicity. However, the journey of this gentle man has also stopped. In January 2024, Francisco Javier Uría passed away at the age of 73 after a long illness. His departure was a sad note for Asturias football, where he will forever be a legend of Sporting Gijón, who brought the pride of this land to the world. Miguel Bernardo Bianchetti, nicknamed Migueli or Tarzan, was the terror of every striker at the 1978 World Cup. At 26, the Barcelona center-back possessed terrifying physical strength and a thick, masculine mustache. He played 2 matches in the tournament, playing with determination and not afraid of contact. Migueli was known for his incredible tenacity, once playing the entire Cup Winners' Cup final with a broken collarbone. He was the embodiment of unparalleled strength and courage, an immovable rock in front of goal. After hanging up his boots as Barcelona's all-time appearance record holder, before being surpassed by Xavi and Messi, Migueli remained unassuming and outspoken. He was involved in ex-player activities, art business, and occasionally appeared in the media with his unflinching opinions. Despite his fierce appearance as a giant, Migueli was a warm-hearted man, always enthusiastic about friends and charity work. The link between Migueli and life is endurance. He endured on the pitch for 16 seasons at the top, and endured in life to maintain his status as a monument. His strength lies not only in his muscles, but in his iron will to never give up. Today, at the age of 72, Migueli is still alive and well in Barcelona. He is still the indomitable Tarzan in the hearts of coolies, a living witness to the glorious and also thorny historical period of the Catalan team. Antonio Olmo, the 24-year-old Barcelona defender, was nicknamed El Sabio, the Wise One, a nickname that summed up his style of play. He played 2 games at the 1978 World Cup, using his brains to defend rather than his brawn. Olmo was the modern defender, calmly handling the ball, intercepting passes with his foresight and initiating attacks from deep. He exuded confidence with his coolness and precision. After retiring, Olmo did not leave football but was deeply attached to youth training at La Masia and worked as a coach for Sabadell. True to his nickname, the Wise Man, he was a devoted teacher, imparting intelligent football philosophy to the next generations. His life was closely linked to the tactical board and the sunny training grounds where he nurtured the future buds. He was a quiet ferryman, rarely mentioned by the media, but his contribution to the foundation of Spanish football was not small. The similarity between Olmo on and off the pitch is intelligence. On the pitch, he plays with his head. Off the pitch, he uses knowledge to educate. He is the epitome of a teacher who believes that football is a game of the mind. Today, Antonio Olmo is enjoying a peaceful retirement. He still closely follows Barcelona's every move, satisfied with the legacy of talented players whose personalities and playing style he helped shape. José Martínez Sánchez, or the legendary Piri, arrived at the 1978 World Cup at the age of 33, the most experienced veteran in the squad. Although he only played 1.5 games, Piri's influence in the dressing room was invaluable. He was known as one of the most courageous players in history. He once played a final with a broken collarbone and another with a 40-degree fever. Piri was a symbol of Madridismo, the never-give-up spirit of Real Madrid. In Argentina, he played the role of Big Brother, a moral support for the younger players. The most special thing about Piri is his life after football, an admirable intellectual journey. He studied medicine while still playing at the top level, and after retiring, he became a real doctor, joining the medical team of Real Madrid. From a hero on the field causing injuries to opponents, he became a hero in white shirt saving players. After that, he also took on the role of sports director and is currently the honorary president of Real Madrid, after Amancio passed away. Piri's connection to life is one of healing and giving. On the pitch, he patched holes in defenses with experience. Off the pitch, he healed injuries with medical skill. He was the embodiment of the whole, physically strong and mentally alert. Today, Piri remains a powerful and respected figure in Madrid. At nearly 80, he retains his poise, a living symbol of wisdom and courage, and is revered by the entire football world. Antonio Biosca, a 28-year-old Real Betis center-back, had a memorable 1978 World Cup, both in terms of honor and pressure. Coming on against the mighty Brazil, he fought hard to keep out the samba dancers. Biosca was a hard-working defender, a mainstay in Betis's historic 1977 Copa del Rey triumph. However, his international career was short-lived, and the 1978 World Cup was the only high point he reached in the national team. After the World Cup, Biosca soon retired from his peak career and turned completely to business. Unlike many colleagues who tried to stick with the coaching profession, Biosca chose to become a businessman. He was quite successful in this field and lived a private life, separate from the noisy and scandalous football world. He chose to put the past to sleep and focus on the present, building a prosperous life for his family. Biosca's contrast is a sidetrack. On the pitch, he is a shot stopper. But in life, he has created a career that has nothing to do with football. He is proof that players can be successful in other areas after they hang up their boots. Today, Antonio Biosca lives comfortably in Seville. He is a successful man, content with what he has. A glorious past with Betis and a peaceful, stable present. Rubén Cano, a striker of Argentine origin who became a naturalized Spanish player, was the hero who led La Roja to the 1978 World Cup, with the golden goal in the bloody Battle of Belgrade against Yugoslavia in the tournament, which took place in his native country. The 27-year-old Cano played one match, carrying with him a special emotional struggle. He was a cunning, strong, good at pressing and somewhat thorny striker, willing to do anything to score. He represented a blend of South American technique and European pragmatism. After retiring, Rubén Cano did not choose to live a reclusive life. He became a powerful and also resourceful sporting director at Atletico Madrid under President Jesus Gil. He was known for his tough negotiating skills, high-profile transfer deals, and sharp eyes for people. His life was always vibrant, associated with backstage controversies, reflecting his strong, fearless personality when he was playing. Cano's similarity is fighting. On the field, he fights with defenders to get the ball. At the negotiating table, he fights with his counterpart to gain the advantage. He is the type of person born to conquer and never accepts defeat. Today, Ruben Cano has retired but still retains the strong personality of a true gaucho. He still regularly follows football and his comments are as sharp as his shots.